Hi, everyone. I just want to say a big thank you to all of you that attended our session last Thursday, how to have more energy in 10 days. There were a bunch of questions that we couldn't get to. And so I just wanted to record the short video essentially just to hopefully give you some answers or direct you to other places you might want to go. So let's do this real quickly. We've got a question from Samantha. She asks, what made Sean undertake his mission and to increase his own energy and then coach others to do the same? So I've actually done a TED talk on this, Samantha, so we'll share the link with you. But really, it just came back to experiencing burnout twice quite severely myself, realizing that there were a whole bunch of decisions that I didn't realize I was making or that I was on autopilot. And so really, it was that process of learning about how to get myself back that led me to develop what I do, the process I take, the assessments I've developed, all of that sort of stuff, which is really just about helping other people, one, recognize the warning signs that I missed, and then hopefully be able to then address those before they get any worse. So really, EnergyX is just a pay it forward business. I'm just trying to pay forward all the things that I had learned to get back to being myself. So check out the TED Talk. I'd love to know what you think. Rick, we got 3 questions from you, Rick. Okay, so first question, what's the best way to wake up energetically and maintain that throughout the day? How do you optimize sleep to ensure you're rested regardless of how you feel? All right, so I think sleep is the number one place to start, right? So start with your chronotype, do your chronotype assessment. We've given you the links to do that because regularity is number one from a sleep science point of view. Number 2 is the temperature of your bedroom. Make sure it's nice and cool. 18 to 20 degrees Celsius is actually what most people benefit from. And so start that. And then, as I said, like I think for all of us, it's really about rhythms create momentum, right? So your survival, your performance rhythm starts with your sleep. So get that right first, then wake up. From there, start the day you want to, the way that you intend to continue it. And so your morning routine becomes really, really important. And a lot of us have just been on the same morning routine for years and years without questioning it. So focus on literally just getting up and starting the way that you want to do. Like I literally say, first 15 minutes device free, get up and make my bed. I'm already winning. I'm already ticking things off the box. Spend that first 15 minutes focused on myself and starting the day in a proactive way, not in my device. So if you can just get those couple of things right, last hour before bed, relax, no screens, go to bed based on your chronotype, get 8 hours sleep, start that first 15 minutes of the day device free. Just start there, mate. And I guarantee that you'll be getting a good night and you'll be starting your day the right way as well. How do you stop being dysfunctional and gain energy from being in a polar opposite state? Look, what I look for is disruptors, right? So remember, the thing that we talked about was in every moment we've got a choice. We either choose to make an energy vampire decision or we choose to make an energist decision, right? So the first starting point is just realizing that and being aware of that in the first place. Sometimes it means that we have to change some practices, and that can feel hard at the same time, but just start with small things, right? So if you are in that negative state, find some disruptors. That's why we talk about things like gratitude is an ultimate disruptor, because your brain cannot be thinking negative and positive thoughts at the same time. Sometimes it's easier, if you want to get out of a negative state, is to try and energize someone else, because their energy and giving that to a good person, not making it about you, actually can be a disruptor for you as well. Get outside and move. Like what we know is that if you're feeling that way, the worst thing you can do is sit in that, right? So think about what are the disruptors that you can do. And as soon as you feel that way, do something different, right? You've got a choice, because you're either choosing to sit in that and be an energy vampire, or you're choosing not and being an energist. So give that a go. And last one, once we've implemented all these tips, how do we maintain in the future, right? This is a thing. There's no plateau. This is the thing. When you're feeling like you've got enough energy, 8 out of 10 days, for instance, that's a great goal to start with. There is no plateau. Like having enough energy for the stuff that's important to you is not a plateau. Like, and this is the thing, is that we often keep thinking is that we always have to be going up, right? Why can't we just be happy with where we are, right? So I would just be, I think it's a good question to ask, right? Because you've got to focus on getting there, but set yourself a goal, right? And then it becomes about sustaining. It doesn't always have to be about climbing the next mountain, right? Take a breath, recover, give yourself credit. These are all really important things to do. Okay, Beth, how do you change things that you don't like but have to do? All right, so the thing is that why I talk about this is called, these are energy vampires as well, right? So these are tasks or people that are things that you have to do. So if it's a task, again, right, unless you change, it continues to be an energy vampire. So you have to do something different. Often if it's a task that, that is it administrative or boring, stuff like that, that doesn't really get you going. What I'd say is combine it with something that gets you going, right? Save your favorite playlist, podcast, whatever to do it. Make it social is another way to do things. Like if there's lots of you doing administrative type tasks, if you do it together, that changes the dynamic straight away. If you can't change that task itself, bookend it, put something energizing before, energizing afterwards. The simple ways that you can do it, right? But just think about that. As soon as you identify something that's an energy vampire for you, unless you change it, you are choosing to continue to let it be an energy vampire, right? And even like if sometimes it's also about our perception, right? So if this is something which is important, feels important or feels big right now, think about actually just even decreasing the importance of that, having a different perspective on it, even if that's just in your mind, right? But remember that you have to make the choice about whether you're going to change that or not. Nicole says, how do you change the script on someone who is giving off negative vibes? Your tribe is your vibe. Okay, when someone is giving off negative energy, is there a trick to snap them out of it? Okay, you just keep doing you, right, Nicole? Like that's the most important thing. Just keep doing you. Don't try to change other people. You can't change other people. So all you can do is change how you turn up. And the other thing is that, there's a point when it comes to energy vampires in our life where we have to make a tough decision. Is that relationship the type of importance that you want to continue to invest in it or not? Right? I only surround myself with people that are going to build me up, especially if they're important relationships. Sometimes there are other relationships where you've got to sort of adjust. Again, one of my biggest strategies is around bookending. If I've got an energy vampire person, then I will put something energizing before, energizing after that person. But ultimately, unless this is someone that's, a hugely important relationship in your life, you have to make a choice around what you're doing. And, if you are a person that's trying to fix other people, then that's something else that you need to address in yourself first. We can't change other people. All we can do is change ourselves. And so often I would say with people, say sometimes people are just in a rut, and so all you can do is share what you're doing, right? Share things that are doing, but don't necessarily, try to fix them. I think, one of the strategies coming out of Are You OK Day this year was, we could encourage them to act in some different way. But there is a certain point as well where you need to put your own boundaries up. So I know with some of my friends to start with, like I would say to them, look, if you've got a problem in your life, I'm going to listen one time. But if you keep coming back over and over again with the same problem and you're not choosing to fix it, I don't want to hear about it. I'm sorry. It's a bit of tough love, but, otherwise they are choosing to do that and they are not taking responsibility for their impact on you as well, which is really important, right? We all have an energy impact on each other. We all have a responsibility to each other. So that's a bit of a tough one, love one, Nicole. James, Sean, to what degree do you think that this is under our control? I know some people feel that external factors prevent them from succeeding, but you seem to indicate that is your own choice. James, I couldn't say it any more clearer, right? Our lives are the result of the choices that we make. And sometimes it's about perception. We can all have shitty stuff happen to us as well. But again, it comes back to the impact of that shitty situation still depends on our choice around how we perceive that, or how we choose to move on from that, or how we choose to learn from it. And so what I do want to say is that it's not about thinking like sometimes we feel like if we're overwhelmed, we want to change everything in our life all at once. It is focusing on the things that you have the most control over first, And so often, for instance, if someone is coming to me and they're really depleted, they're really stressed, they hate their job, they want to make a career change, I will actually encourage them to actually build up their energy in other areas first, so they've got more gas in the tank before they tackle the big life-changing decisions. Because when we're depleted, we're more likely to make an emotional decision. We're going to be in a negative headspace. We'll attract more negativity versus being in a creative headspace where we're designing the future that we want to move towards. And so I will always come back to that with myself. I go, well, I'm an adult. No one's the boss of me, right? No one's the boss of you. We make our decisions, right? And we ultimately, some of those decisions we have to are hard ones sometimes as well. So I would just think about that. What decisions are you making, first of all, for yourself? And then also, like, I do think, like, say, when it comes to career, for instance, I know that one of the things that led to my burnout was the fact that I was a perfectionist and I was a yes guy. I didn't know how to ask for help. And all of those things contributed to me burning out. No one told me to work those hours. That was my own decision to do that. And so ultimately I have to take responsibility for that. And so this is really a key part of all the work that I do. It's like responsibility is at the heart of everything. What am I responsible for? What decisions did I make? Even if I believe I didn't make a decision, someone made it before me, ultimately I still have a decision in how I react to other situations as well. I could go on forever about this one. So hopefully that helps a little bit, James. Or Della, sounds like losing our religion, faith, and trust can have an effect on our mental well-being and reduce stress. Do you think this could be true? So I'm not, Odella, I'll say I'm not upfront, I'm not religious, but I do believe in that belonging and feeling connected is so important to us as humans. And so for some people that comes in the form of a spiritual sense or religion. And those benefits are amazing, so I'm not either way, to be honest. I do feel that people, I would say, beyond, if we think about what the purpose of things are for people to belong, connect, I do feel that at the root cause of what we are seeing around these epidemics of mental well-being is a loss of connection. And that's a connection as much to ourselves as to other people. And so, you do not see a lot of people necessarily doing the work on themselves to get to know and feel really connected to themselves, know who they are, take responsibility for the decisions they make, learn from those mistakes, reflect on what they've done. A lot of us on autopilot repeating the same things. So what I would say is that what's missing is, that sense of connection. So, am I spending time, valuing time, connecting with myself? Am I spending meaningful time connecting with others as well? Do I feel like I belong? Do I feel like I have a group of people that I can trust? And we need to cultivate those connections. And it's hard, especially as adults, like I think to build new connections is really hard, can feel really hard, can feel really stressful sometimes as well. So I think that we all need to belong to something, and whether that's religion or whether that's some other type of group, I think it's important for us to sort of seek that out. So I hope that makes sense. Laura, do you ever allow yourself time to just be down, then pick yourself up? If so, how long? Okay, I think that's a really good, really, really important question, Laura, because I think that one of the biggest moments I feel that I had a sense of relief over was when I was looking at the neuroscience around the neuroscience of happiness, and it's at its essence, happiness is just a spurt of neurochemicals, right? 4 neurochemicals: dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins. And our bodies and our brains are not designed to make us happy all the time. And that was a huge sense of relief when I did this, but we feel like we're just sort of continually chasing those. And what I feel is really the true definition of emotional intelligence is really that ability to, to feel and express and articulate the full breadth of human emotion that we experience. If you come right back to the root, a definition of like where the word emotion came from, it's energy and motion, right? And so those are signals in our bodies telling us things, right? And sometimes if we can tune into those and adapt to those, I definitely, I would say in the last 5 years, I failed so much in trying to build this business, trying to connect, trying to make the best impact I can for people. I think that it's only because of those downtimes that I'm actually able to actually even talk in this perspective and share the research that I did to find out, one, why did I make those decisions in the first place, right? So coming back to responsibility, and secondly, what's the best way to teach those to other people as well? And so I would say that it's important to know how to pick yourself up. And to your point, it's also important to know that it's okay not to be okay, and just to have a day just to experience all the feels sometimes. And sometimes, and I think part of that is also taking responsibility, though, that you know, if you need some support in that, to ask for that, to connect with people that you trust around that, to not to offload your responsibility to others, right? So ultimately, you're still responsible for yourself. And I feel like sometimes we're offloading, we're asking other people to fix our problems for us. But it's really important to be able to express that. So like often I'll say to people, if you are going to share with someone, you know, that you've had a bad day or a rough day or something like that, the next thing I expect you to say is, and this is what I'm going to do about it, or ask for some help, right? Versus just sort of being a victim to things. Next one from Penny, last question. How much does mental health disorders affect the ability to do this 10-day practice, especially during the troughs of the disorder? So Penny, look, I want to say up front, I'm not a psychologist. I have been on the receiving end. You know, I am one of the biggest advocates of psychotherapy, psychology, life coaching, whatever form it takes in for you. I feel like there's so many different modalities in coaching that can be out there, and all have got their value. There's not one that I would put over all. I've tried lots of them. What I think is really important is not to focus on the 10 days, but just to focus on the one day. What am I going to do today, right? What's the thing I can do right now to support myself? Even if that is just simply awareness, right? So when I say to people, you know, you've got a choice. Am I making an energy vampire decision? Am I making an energist decision? The first part of that is just the awareness conversation. For me, that is progress, right? Even if you still choose, right, because you're just in a habit, or you're stuck in a rut to continue to do the energy vampire decision, at least you're conscious of that, right? Because that is, from that consciousness, you can start to make a different decision when you're ready, when the timing's right, when you feel like you've got enough in there. And so that's the key thing for me in this is is less to focus on completion. So just focus one day. What am I doing differently today? And so, because I know that, you know, from my own experiences, especially of depression, you know, there are times when you just feel like you're just in this sort of circle, right? And you're sort of drowning a little bit. And sometimes you just need that light bulb moment. You go, oh shit, what was that thing I learned? Can I practice that right now? And so I think when you are deep in the dark, the opposite of that feeling is connection, right? Connection to yourself, connection to others. So choose to connect in some way. And then if anything on those 10 is useful at the time, do that. I do, my one that I focus on all the time is, we know that sleep is a mental health superpower. If you talk to the psychologists, they will say that sleep disturbance is one of those first sort of signs of vulnerability. To start there, at least, you know, just even getting to know your chronotype, at least you know what your chronotype is. That's the starting point. So I hope that helps, Penny. Please, as I said, I'm not a psychologist, but if you do, or any people that you know that are doing that, again, it's just getting the right professional help is so important. And there's no shame, especially in times like this, of asking for extra help. So so just thank you to everyone that asked questions. I hope this was useful. And stay in touch. Please connect with me on LinkedIn or social channels. I'm always sort of posting stuff there, little tips and things like that. And yeah, take care of yourself, and just remember that simple thing. Just, am I being an energist or am I being an energy vampire? Start there, and each day just make one more energist decision. That's how it starts. Thanks so much, guys. See you soon. And shimmy. Don't forget to shimmy as well. Right, it's a way to do it.